In my opinion, the Jordan 4s are a perfect pair of shoes. They're so beautiful and nice, and the white and gray cement is like having artwork on your feet. I love them. I love these shoes, and I once owned a pair. I was in high school, I was on the internet, and I came across a pair of Jordan 4s for $170, the white and gray cement, which at that time was a very, very expensive pair of shoes. Right now, that exact pair of shoes for $170 would be amazing. That would be a steal. I didn't have a job. I didn't know how I was going to get these shoes. So I asked my dad if he would get the shoes for me. And I lied to him saying they were $100. And he agreed to get them for me. And in my head, I was like, I'll just like get a job somehow and make up the difference. And I'll give him the difference when the shoes arrive. But I never ended up getting that job. And the shoes arrived pretty quickly. He was pretty pissed. My dad was very, very pissed because I bought a $170 pair of shoes. However, when I put those shoes on, in my head it was well worth it because they were amazing. And then I realized that I never wanted to wear them because they were getting dirty. So I ended up putting them in a box. I stuffed them in the closet in my mom's house. And I just always knew they were there. They were just sitting in my mom's closet, just waiting for me. I'm following my heart. I'm getting out of Wisconsin, I'm moving to Los Angeles, I leave my Jordan 4s in my mom's house in the closet, so I get to LA, kind of like drifting around, jumping from job to job, trying to figure out my life, and while I'm in LA, I find out that my dad passes away. And I don't bring this up to make this a depressing story, I bring this up to emphasize the connection I now have to these Jordan 4s because, you know, this was a gift he had gotten to me. Of course, I feel like I have to move back to Wisconsin, so I call my mom. I'm like, hey mom, I'm gonna come home, I'm coming back to Wisconsin. I gotta make this move. As I'm getting ready to move back home, I get a phone call from my mom who tells me that her brother, who's living out of state, is moving back to Wisconsin and he needs a place to stay. Enter my Uncle Jimmy. And I don't know how to describe my Uncle Jimmy. And I'm not even gonna try to describe my Uncle Jimmy. I just need you to use your imagination of what and who my Uncle Jimmy is. So I'm home, my shoes are in the closet, I'm just completely depressed. I don't know what the hell's going on in life right now. And my mom calls me and says, can you please pick up your uncle? He's in downtown and it was pouring outside. It was really bad. So she said, can you please go get him? And I was like, okay, fine, I'll go get him. So in this pouring rain, I go and go to pick up my Uncle Jimmy, and I get into downtown Milwaukee, and I'm sitting on this curb, and I remember I'm just like waiting for him, and I don't see him, and the windshield wipers, water splattering everywhere, and so I end up looking like down at the corner of the street, and I see this guy like running towards me, and I'm looking, I'm like, I think that's my Uncle Jimmy, but as he got closer, I noticed that his shoes were really white, like super white. And he keeps running and he opens the car door, jumps in the front seat, and I look down and my Uncle Jimmy is wearing my Jordan 4s. I'm like, hey, where did you get those shoes? And he proceeds to tell me that my mom gave him the shoes. I was losing my mind. So I said, Uncle Jimmy, take off the shoes. And he was like, what? I'm like, take off those shoes right now. So I make him take off the Jordan 4s in my car. I remember getting back to my house, I took the shoes, I made him walk in his socks, which I feel bad saying right now, but I made him walk in his socks back to my mom's house. I get inside, I find my mom, and I go... So some time has gone by, and I've saved up enough money now to get back to Los Angeles, and yet again, I hide my Jordan 4s somewhere in my mom's house because I'm not taking much with me to Los Angeles. I get back to LA, I find an apartment, I find a job, things are kind of working out for me. I get a phone call from my mom. My mom tells me that she's gonna be moving, and she was like very overwhelmed at the time. So I just asked her to keep an eye out for all of my important things, like my Jordan 4s. She tells me she will, and she's gonna move them to my new bedroom in this new place. And I was like, I'll get them in a few months when I come home, you know, when I'm back for Christmas. She's like, that sounds great. So I returned to Wisconsin for Christmas. I go to my mom's new house, which is this beautiful place, and I can't find my Jordan 4s anywhere. And now my Jordan 4s are just like inexplicably gone. Just gone. I'm yelling at anyone who's going to listen to me. And oh, my Uncle Jimmy, by the way, he's moved out of the state of Wisconsin. My Uncle Jimmy's nowhere to be found, and I swear there was, I think he took my shoes. I honestly, I think he took my shoes. And just like that, gone. They were just out of my life. I ended up tracking down my Uncle Jimmy eventually, who said he had no idea what I was talking about. And I existed all this time without a pair of Jordan 4s. Until right now. I upgraded the color, they're black and red now, and I'm gonna wear the hell out of these. I have a lot of lost time to make up with these shoes. And that's my Jordan 4 story.